Hi everybody. I know it's been a minute. I think my last video was in like December or something like that. Few reasons I haven't really recorded. One, straight up haven't felt like it. Two, I feel like I don't get enough progress done to really do every month. Especially the last few months I haven't been stitching as much. I have recently. I've been stitching quite a lot recently, but like I feel like I just don't get a huge amount done, and then my videos are just kind of like barely got anything done. Trying to change that, so hopefully I'll get more done this year. Um, Another reason is I just got a new laptop, so I'm still, downloading everything, signing into everything. My classes also have been getting a little bit more difficult. I'm kind of in like the back half now, so I'm doing more of the more intense classes. I know there are people who watch, the end of my videos where I talk about what I'm reading. I'm not going to do that this video. I might talk about what I'm currently reading, but honestly, because it's been so long, I don't remember what I finished. I don't even remember what I was reading when I did my last video, so I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to talk about, like, maybe the, like, 2 books that I've very recently finished, and then the ones that I'm currently reading. And that's it. So, it's not going to be too long of a part in that. This is going to be mainly a stitchy video. I do have a lot to talk about. This is going to be kind of my WIP parade. I only have 4 WIPs, but very short parade, but still. And then kind of my future plans for this year. So let's just jump into it. This is the one I worked on least recently. This is Fairy Dancer. Okay, so because this is like kind of the WIP parade, it's like the beginning of the year, wrap up for 2020. I'm gonna try to find like the first video or the first photo that I posted or that I took of this in 2021. So if I said 2020, I meant 2021. And then post it somewhere. So first here is the full size, just the full picture of it right here. And then this is the first picture I had in 2021. And then here it is now. So I fully finished the second row, as you can see. The flower, I mean, it looks like it's almost half done. There are 5, I think 5 full rows, and then 1 row that is like partial. So I've gotten 2 rows done, so there's 3 more rows, and then like 1 more. It's partial, so I'm almost halfway done. Getting there. But I've started the actual fairy. You can see over here. With her. There's her face. And her arm. And it's just like, it's really pretty. I really love the colors on it. As I said before, it's not my favorite to work on because there are so many sections of just one color. And I do find that slightly tedious, but I'm really happy with the progress on this. And as I've said before, this one and then the next one I'm going to show you are for my mom and my dad. This one's for my mom. She loves flowers and fairies, and she has like a million of those like garden like concrete like fairies that you put in your garden. And I know this is something that she will absolutely love. And then the other one's for my dad. you? Because I'm from Maine. I'm from like the middle of nowhere, Maine, and you know, he goes deer hunting every year, so he loves the outdoors. So I really tried to pick things that really fit their personalities and their like likes and interests. And then my sister, I've already done one for her. I have showed it on here before. And then, you know, once I get both of these done, I will give all three of them to them. And none of them know that I have done this. So keep it a secret. So the next one is, I'm currently working on this. So, yeah, the other three are all in Q-snaps because I am working on them. That's the only one that was not in a Q-snap, so I can't show you the full thing of any of the other ones, but you get the gist. So I started the third row on this. Then as with Fairy Dancer, here is the full picture. And then here is the oldest, you know, picture from 2021 that I could find. I'm going to try to find the oldest, like, full picture, too, that I can find, which I'm not great at taking them, so we shall see. I'm going to try to be better in the future. These are still going to take me, like, probably at least another 2 years to finish, so I'll have plenty of time to practice. So here's where I am right now. So, just background, really. You can see really what all that's going on right now is, looks like pine needles. There's a lot of confetti in this one, but that's kind of why I like it. It really kind of breaks up the monotony. Like these sections back here are kind of more boring to me anyways, because they're just like sections of one color. And then like down here, it gets a little more interesting. This does, I think, take me longer to stitch because there's so many color changes. But I think there's more colors in this one too. I'd have to look that up, but yeah. And you can see the little deer's face. So I'm gonna finish the section. So because I'm stitching it diagonally, you know, I'm not like doing full pages at a time. I kind of like wait until the bottom reaches the end of the page, and then that page is fully done, and then I kind of call it quits. And then I'll probably switch this out for Fairy Dancer and start working on the third row for that one. So I think right here, about right here is the halfway mark for how long it is. And these are Fairy Dancer and Deer Creek are about the same size. I think one is like slightly bigger, but barely. They're about the same size. These are not minis. These are just the regular size. And they're both from Heaven and Earth Designs. Different designers, though. I'll put the names and everything up. So about the middle of the third page is where the middle of the project is. So once I finish this row, I will be over halfway done. I think I'm around 40 something percent right now, maybe. I might still be in the 30s, but I'll have all my percentages down in the description box below. So yeah, having fun with that. I got all of that done today. All of that diagonal. That was all from today. So the way that I stitch this and the way that I stitch Fairy Dancer is I stitch it diagonally, as you can see, and I will take all of my parked threads and I will do all of those first in the entire diagonal, and then I will go through and fill everything else in. I don't do it like square section by section by section. I do it just full diagonal. I can kind of consider its own section. So, and then there are subsections within that it's all confusing and in my head, and I feel like I can't even explain it properly, but all right, moving on. So this one I got a full page finish. This is Epic Pokemon. Yeah, Epic Pokemon, I think. Generation 1, and I did get a page finish on this very recently, and I'm going to go for another page finish. I might actually just try to finish out the row, considering it fits in this Q-Snap pretty perfectly. There's only like 4 pages in a row, and they don't take that long. I just don't work on this that often, so I don't have a whole lot of progress in it. But here is the full picture. And the last good picture I could get of it from last year. So, here is where I am now. So, get it closer. So, from about here, I believe, or here. Here. Yeah, I think it's here. I believe most of this egg from Execute is on that page. So, you know, Star You, Star Me, Rhyhorn. I think that's Rhyhorn. Execute, Executor, and Cubone, and then I don't know who you are. I know Generation 1 the most, but I still don't know the name of every single Pokemon. And then there's, you know, something popping up here. There's something blue over here that's just beginning, but I don't know what it is. So, I think I'm just gonna try to finish the row before I take it off the Q-Snap and switch it out. Once I do, like get to a point where I need to move the Q-Snap, basically, I'm going to start, finally, Epic Storybook Princesses from Cloud's Factory. You know, I bought the pattern last year. I talked about it. I bought the fabric. It's gorgeous fabric. And it's huge. It's going to take me a while. But I have not started yet. And right now, I really, really want to start it. But I really don't like moving Q-Snaps unless I have to. And this is in a really good place right now for me to just finish out those 2 pages. So I'm probably just going to do that, and then I'll start it. But I cannot wait. And I do intend to do all of these, by the way, all of the generations, even though the later generations I'm not as familiar with. I don't really play Pokemon anymore. I don't really watch Pokemon anymore. So, you know, but I still like Pokemon. It's, you know, I'm an early 2000s kid. So, Pokemon 2000 was like my favorite movie when I was a kid. I still have it on DVD. Alright, so moving on, and then moving on to my oldest project, and the one that's going to take me the longest to finish. The Fantastic Voyage by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork is by Amy Stewart. So here is the full picture. And here is the full last progress photo, or the first progress photo from 2021. This is editing me, so I'm a terrible person, and I apparently did not take a full photo of Fantastic Voyage in the entire year of 2021. The oldest one that I could find was from February 2020, so I don't have one. So, sorry. And here it is now. So I don't believe I've gotten a page finish since the last time I showed it, but I'm a good portion of the way into this page. I've gotten quite a few of the colors done. And then I'm doing this 1/1 on some ridiculously tiny count of fabric. I know it's even weave. I don't know the count though. So this is like some kind of like I don't know, a boat or a train car or something like that. I think it might be a boat. So that's, and then the curtain, stuff like that up here. I I think there's only like maybe 1 or 2 pages left after this one. And then I've reached the edge. I've reached the edge of the first row. So that'll be like really exciting because this is gonna take me literally until I'm old and gray. I'm never, ever, ever doing a supersized max color ever again. Minis all the way, baby. I don't think that it adds enough. I don't know. I'm a finisher. I like having the finished products. I like the process of doing it as well, obviously, or I wouldn't do it. But I also like finishing. Like I'm not a starter. I don't have a million projects. I really like having that finished product. And having that sense of completion once you finish a project. So for me, doing a huge project like this, when you can get the same picture but have it like slightly smaller and with less colors, less work, less time, it's not worth it to do this. Yeah, I'm not doing a supersized max color again. I don't really like stitching 1/1 either. It's not my thing. I like 2/2. I like parking. I know you can park with 1/1, but I just don't feel comfortable with it because I feel like the threads are gonna just go everywhere and then I'm gonna lose where they originally were, and it's just like a headache for me. So once I finish that, I'm going to start Arc of White by Tempting Tangles. I semi-started this already, and then I frogged everything because I just didn't like how it looked. So that is the pattern. It only has 4 colors in it. You can see them all there down below. I think the Gentle Art is the called for threads, called for brand, and then this is my fabric. I believe this is the same fabric that they used in their, or it's very similar anyways. And it is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. I don't have the cardboard anymore, so I know it's about Picture This Plus. Don't know if they have. So what they used was Zweigart Midnight Fantasy. I believe this is Picture This Plus though. I'm pretty sure it is. And then 40 count. And then they did over 2/1. Or 1/2, I mean. But I think I started doing that. And it did not go well. Maybe I started in the wrong place or something, but I believe I finished the first like words, a spider, and it was like big, like it had already reached quite far into it, and I was like, this is not gonna fit. So I don't know. I might have to just measure this just to make sure this will fit, or maybe I didn't have it over far enough or something. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. That's the thing, I don't like starting specifically because of this, because of the anxiety that it gives me about starting in the wrong place. You know, my baby. Oh. She's not the most cuddly of cats. So, yeah. So those are my stitch plans. And then I did just buy 3 new charts that should be on their way. I just bought them today. Because I have done Celtic Spring by Lavender and Lace, I believe it's by. And I really want to do all of them. So there's Celtic Autumn, Celtic Summer, Celtic Winter, and then there's Celtic Noel. Noel is the one that I did not order because 123 Stitch did not have it, which puts a bit of a kink in my plans. But I think everything cross stitch has it. eBay has it. I cannot buy it from eBay though because I have some issues with them, so eBay is not an option for me. But I did see it on everything cross stitch, so I'll just have to buy it on there. I think it's like the same price. They're like 14 bucks each, which isn't a big deal. And I don't think this will take me too long to do. I really want to finish some of these, like start some and finish some of these smaller patterns that I have, and not just have all full coverage. I would like to have one that's just a bit easier, one that I can finish within a year before I die. Alright, so that's pretty much it for all my stitchy information. Well, my stitchy update. So I'm going to move on to books. I just recently received this. I said before that I had Owl Crate. I had it for about 3 months, I believe. Or 4 months. I might have had it for 4 months. 3 or 4 months. And this was supposed to be in the last box that I got, but they couldn't get it for some reason. They weren't able to get this in time, so this ended up shipping out like way later. I think that was I got the box in like November, and then I didn't get this until very recently. Like it's March 8th, so, and I've had it for 2 weeks. So it has a lot of cool stuff in it. And I think it has at least like 2 years worth of monthly planners. So it has like this, which is just a month, which I don't use this part in any planner, really. I use the weekly. And it has a spot where you can write down what you want to read. So in case you're interested, that's what my plans for this month, for March. And then notes, but I don't really take notes. I'm not a note taker. And then a week to week. I'm not great at taking my week to week notes either. But there's a little spot where you can write down what you're currently reading, and then where you can mark down every day that you've read. And then up here is just your to-do for the week, and then a daily. And it's not numbered for you, so you can put in any month or day. You cannot buy this, so I'm sorry to tell you. This is specifically made for Owl Crate. And I've seen other like reading journals, but I haven't seen one like this, and I really like this one. So it's kind of a shame they can't buy it. And then at the end of the month, there is a thing where you can put in the books that you finished for that month, and then your like reviews and everything, all the information. So I've finished 2 books already this month. And then you do your monthly wrap up, where you can just write down just notes and stats, basically. Which for a math nerd like me, it's fun. And then there's literally like months. So many months. Like literally from all of this is just that. And it's only a few pages each. So there's maybe like even 3 years worth of month planners, monthly planners. And then at the very end, there is a comprehensive book log where you just write down everything. So it's all the books that I finished for the year. Not much. I haven't been reading that much this year. And then, and I like they give you an option over here where you can put down if it was Kindle, an actual book, or an audiobook. So that's cool. And then there's like an end of year wrap up, all that stuff in the end. So this is just amazing. I love it. It's all like soft and bendy. It's gorgeous. I love it. I love it. So far, I finished four books this year so far, and I'll just quickly go over those. So I finished Atonement by Ian McEwan. It was sad. I watched the movie right after. I've seen the movie before, but I didn't like it, and I don't even think I finished it, honestly, because I don't remember the ending. It's depressing. It's sad. You'll cry, probably. I cried. And they did a really good job, though, I think, with the movie, doing an adaptation of it. It is historical fiction. It takes place in England, and World War II comes in, but it's mainly, the reason why it's called Atonement, it's mainly about, it's a love story, but one of the main characters, he gets accused of rape, which he did not do, but he ends up going to jail for it, and he gets accused by the sister of the woman that he's in love with. So, complications, and it doesn't have a happy ending, I will say that. I mean, the movie came out in like 2008 or something like that, so I'm not spoiling anything for you. The movie stars Keira Knightley and James McAvoy as the two love interest people. It's a good movie. It's very good. So, and I listened to the audiobook for that. I've not actually finished a physical book this year yet, but I'm getting there. The next one I finished was Neon Gods by Katie Robert. This is a romance novel, technically. I only read it because I do read a lot of romance novels, but I don't normally record them, I guess. I don't know, it's one of those things where, you feel shame. But this one I got off Goodreads, the suggestion, because it was nominated in the romance category for the Goodreads Choice Awards. I don't believe it won. I can't remember which one won. Will you shut up? It is a modern-ish retelling of Hades and Persephone, and it was kind of a darker one. It wasn't that dark of a romance, but it was darker than I like. I don't really like too complicated of romances, I guess you could say. It is part of a series. There's a second book. I don't know who the second book is about, because I was like, it's okay, but I'm not gonna continue the series. The next one that I finished was Lovecraft Country by Matt Ruff. This I read because there was a TV show on HBO called Lovecraft Country, and it was based on this book. And I really liked the TV show. The TV show did get canceled after one season, and I did see that it didn't get the greatest reviews. I liked it though, so I wanted to read the book. This was an instance where I did like the book better than the TV show or the movie or whatever. They changed things for the TV show that didn't make any sense. They didn't make any sense. I'm just gonna put a big old spoiler alert right here, because I'm gonna talk about stuff that happens at the very end and stuff. So before I get into some huge spoiler alert, just rough summary of it is, it's mainly it takes place in the 50s, I believe. mainly in Chicago. But it's called Lovecraft Country because they go to Massachusetts, I think, somewhere on the East Coast, where like Lovecraft based some of his stories in. So that's like called Lovecraft Country. I guess I've never really heard that, but that's why it's called Lovecraft Country. It also has a lot of like Lovecraftian. It is a horror book technically, so it has a lot of like Lovecraftian lore in it. In the TV show, Cthulhu literally like appears at one point. And there's like weird creatures and stuff. In the book, it's less so. There are ghosts and stuff, and there's like one weird creature in like another dimension. But it's less overt, I suppose. It's mainly about an African American family living in Chicago. The main character is Atticus, who is like he was in Vietnam, I believe. He was a soldier in Vietnam. He's like just now coming back to Chicago from Florida. Jim Crow is still a thing, so but that Jim Crow is not in Chicago, but there's still racism. This book deals with a lot of racism, and so does the TV show. So that's a huge part. And then, so his father, Montrose, and him don't have the best of relationships. And then he has his aunt and his uncle. I can't fully remember their names. George is the uncle, and then I think the aunt's name is, oh god, it's something like Greek or Roman, and I can't fully remember what it is. Um, she's not a huge part of it though, honestly. A little bit, but it's more Atticus and his father, and then Letitia, who is like kind of a love interest, but more so in the TV show than in the book. In the book, I don't think they really do much. And then Letitia's sister, Ruby, is also in it. So they travel to Lovecraft Country to rescue Atticus's father, and that's where they meet the Braithwaite family, who are part of like a secret magical society, and Atticus just happens to be distantly related to them. So, they're all very interested in him because he has like magic in his blood or whatever. And the father, the Braithwaite, like the patriarch, he ends up dying during a ritual, and then they all escape and go back to Chicago. But the son, Caleb, follows them, and in the TV show, Caleb dies. I believe his name is Caleb. His name might not be Caleb. But he dies. And he has a sister, though, who ends up, like, basically impersonating him because she has magic spells and she can, like, make herself look like him. She doesn't exist in the book. And also in the TV show, when they're escaping, George gets killed. So he's just killed in like the very, I think, first or second episode of the TV show. He's killed. He's not killed in the book. And also in the book, they have a son. George and his wife have a son, but in the TV show, they have a daughter. Don't really know why they changed that. It doesn't make a difference at all. They're not a big character. So Braithwaite kind of ends up following them and just kind of like interfering with their lives. And in the book, like a bunch of stuff, shenanigans happen. Just shenanigans. I'm not gonna get into it. But in the book at the end, they manage to like rid themselves of Caleb and do a spell on him that basically makes it so that he can't do magic anymore and can't bother them anymore. Basically how it works. In the TV show, though, they end up going back to the Braithwaite family home, which is back on the East Coast, and doing a ritual, and Atticus ends up dying. And also in the TV show, they just added a girlfriend that Atticus had in Vietnam. who is also a, like, there's a name for it. I believe it's from Asian mythology. It is like a succubus type creature. And she's one of those. She's not in the book. They don't really talk about his time in the war at all. So, I don't know. Very weird changes. And then the last book that I finished was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I listened to the audiobook of this, which is only like 2 hours long. It's not a long book. And I remember I grew up with the movie that came out, I think in the 80s. I think it came out in the late 90s or very early 2000s. And I watched that movie like so many times. And I know it has Miranda Richardson plays the Queen of Hearts, and I believe Christopher Lloyd is in it as the White Knight. Robbie Coltrane plays Tweedledum or Tweedledee, plays one of them. Like, there's a lot of well-known people in it. Whoopi Goldberg plays the Cheshire Cat, which was creepy. And as I was listening to the book, I was like, wow, that movie actually had like a lot of like everything. Like, they did a really good job at adapting everything. They kept almost everything. They added some stuff. Like, I didn't realize Tweedledum and Tweedledee are not in the first book. The White Knight, not in the first book. The Walrus and the Carpenter are not in the first book. I can't remember if there's anything else in the movie that's not in the first book. I think that might be it. But everything else, like, they added that stuff into the movie, but everything else, they followed almost like scene for scene, word for word. Like, it's a very good adaptation. So I rewatched it after I finished reading this, and it was just as good as I remembered it being. It's a really good movie. And then one thing I was like, why is the Queen of Hearts, like, in a lot of different media, she's portrayed as very evil and like the villain. This story doesn't really have a villain though. She's not really evil. Yes, she says off with his head, off with her head all the time. But as they say in the book, nobody ever actually gets killed. She just says that, but nobody follows through with it. So she's not. I wouldn't say that she's inherently evil, and there's parts in both the book and the movie where she talks to Alice, and she's actually like very reassuring. So it's like, why is she portrayed as evil? I have not seen, or I've not read the second book. I'm gonna read Through the Looking Glass. Maybe it changes in that one. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm still making my way through War and Peace very slowly. It's very long. I believe I was listening to it the last video. I'm over halfway done. I have like 18 hours left of it, which is still a lot. But, you know, I am getting there. And then I started Crime and Punishment. And honestly, I wasn't really paying attention to it, so I don't know what's going on. So, not a good start. And then the 2 other books that I'm reading are the complete works of H.P. Lovecraft. This is a very big book. And that is where I am. So I read a few of the stories. I'm about 50 pages in. But each story is like 5 to 10 pages about. So I've read a few of the short stories now. Some are better than others. It did come out in like the 30s or something like that, or the 20s. I don't know, something like that. So, you know, they're oldie, and there's definitely a story or two where I'm like, okay, I can tell this guy's a racist. H.P. Lovecraft is a very well-known, huge racist. So there are definitely a few stories in here where you're like, okay. And then I'm also reading The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. This is so good. I did not expect to like it nearly as much as I'm liking it. I'm about halfway through. It is kind of like a fantasy, Harry Potter-esque-ish, not really, but it is kind of a fantasy book. The main character, he works for the, what is it, the Department of Magical Youth. Because there are kids who are born with like magical powers, but they're very ostracized from society and are mostly put in orphanages and are heavily monitored. And he ends up going to this particular, very classified, top secret orphanage that just happens to house the Antichrist. So it's a good book. I'm liking it so far. So that is all I have for you today. So I'm hoping to get, lots of stitching done in the month of March. I will do my very, very best to record a video at the beginning of April and let you know what's going on. I hope everyone is going to have a wonderful March and a wonderful start to the spring. I will see you next time. Bye.